who's ready to make some delicious cookies? Me. Let's go. So here is a picture of all of the tools you'll need. Disclaimer, this was after I made all the cookies. And here's a picture of all the ingredients that you'll need. Sugar, flour, brown sugar, butter, eggs, vanilla, chocolate chips, salt, and olive oil to spray the tin. And maybe baking soda if you want. Here's the full list of the recipe with all of the actual measurements. And then here's just a picture. I like to measure everything out beforehand so that way I have it there and I can get started. So first up, you have to cut up one of the two squares of butter and then whisk it until it has melted. Then you add in the second stick of butter and then do the same thing. And then you add in your white granulated sugar and then you whisk once again, and you're trying to make sure that dissolves. And notice that we are gonna do the same thing with the brown sugar here. You're gonna pour it in and then you're gonna whisk until it dissolves, which this might take a little bit longer to dissolve. You gotta put a little elbow grease into it and speed it up, but it's all good. You'll notice we're not using a mixer. This is the Dutch method, and so you just do everything on the stove and then in the oven. So next up is vanilla, which is my favorite. I just kind of eyeball it and add until I'm satisfied. And so at this point, go ahead and turn off your stove top so that way your little egg that you have to add next will not be scrambled. Your mixture should be cool enough so that you can just incorporate the egg. You might not be able to tell I have the pot on like an ice pack because it did get a little warm, and I wanted to make sure again I didn't have scrambled eggs in my delicious cookies. So next up is the flour. Like I said, there's a 1 3/4 cup. And so you can see I'm still using the whisk and it's getting a little slower. It's getting a little more difficult to mix it in because the flour is taking it from a goop to a dough. So once that happens, you need to get a rubber spatula so that way you can completely integrate all of the flour and it can be a smooth texture. And that's what I'm basically highlighting right here. Like, look at that beautiful, just silky cookie dough. If you had this in a mixing bowl, it wouldn't be quite that loose because this is still a little bit warm, but it comes out just as delicious, maybe even more so. But look at that. It's so yummy. So I just, again, want to highlight, this is what it should look like, this golden color, this brown, this kind of tan color. And just, look at that. It's just, I'm at a loss for words. But next up, fun part, add in a couple of cups of chocolate chips or more or less. Really add to your liking. And honestly, you can use this base of the recipe for other types of cookies. Like if you want to just do white chocolate or something else, you can. So scoop out your cookies in whatever size you want. Bake for 8 minutes between 350 and 375 depending on your oven. I was at around 360. And so this is what they'll look like. A little pale, delicious but a little pale. So let's pop them under that broiler for 60 seconds. Be sure to stay by your oven so you won't burn them, so you can get this beautiful, delicious color. I mean, look at that color on the top. The little edges are a little bit darker, so you get an immediate crispy crunch there. And then you can see the texture as well. I decided not to add baking soda because I didn't want a pillowy cookie. I wanted to have like a little bit more dense of a texture. And so that's what we have here. So once they're done baking and then broiling, pop them onto a cooling rack. They usually recommend about 10 minutes. I usually eat them straight off the pan. See, you can see here, one cookie didn't quite make it. But then, yeah, go find yourself a little glass of milk and enjoy it. They should be soft and gooey in the middle, especially when they first came out. But even a day later, I ate this one the next day. It was crispy around the edges and still had like a softer texture on the inside. So enjoy. For more yummy recipes like this, be sure to head over to my blog at The Curvy Belle. Head on to The Curvy Kitchen so you can check out step-by-step instructions with pictures. Also, be sure to check out other features of the blog, including fashion, DIY, home renovations, and more. Thanks for watching.